Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the Big Roost podcast. Today, I have Dakota Weddle.
Yes. You got
Delarier is really hard to say. So I always ask people, like, I didn't ask you before I hit record how to say your name. I really appreciate you coming on today. You are the owner of Big Lick Roofing, the coolest name out there. Thanks for coming on. Tell me about you. What makes you different? I'd love to hear about you because we've never spoken in person. So let's share about like why you're in roofing.
Let's do it, man. So yeah, Big Lick Roofing, a unique name, something you probably never heard before, and something that probably gets laughed at most roofing conventions. Been there, done that. But Big Lick Roofing, formulated right here in Roanoke, Virginia. For those of you who don't know what Roanoke is, Roanoke used to be called the Big Lick. It had some salt mines back in the days, and the horses and the settlers were gather up at these salt mines, and the horses would lick all the salt off the mines, and it became known as the Big Lick. Eventually, those mines went away and became known as the Star City. So, been there, done that. But yeah, Big Lick, man. This is awesome. The name's awesome. It stands out. We've got a Sasquatch now as our mascot. Everybody's like, how does the Sasquatch go with the Big Lick? It doesn't. That's the beauty of it. It doesn't go with Big Lick whatsoever, but it's just unique like the name. So, yeah, it's great to be on here, John. Thanks for having me. And by the way, I had to do some discovery on how to pronounce your last name by watching other podcasts. So
Nice.
I did my homework.
Nice. Martin Pettigrew, the CEO of Monarch Roofing, he's French Canadian, and my name is French Canadian. And shocker, I'm not actually French Canadian, so he says my name way better. I can't even make my mouth say it correctly. I just say Delarier, and that's what I do. Awesome. This is awesome. Well, tell me about your background, what got you into roofing, how your business is now, what the growth level is when you started, all those things. That's super important for people to understand.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, that's for sure. But I come from a construction-based family. My dad owned and operated his own construction company for about 20 years. So I worked alongside him for quite some time, learning the trade. We did everything from full home remodels to the small stuff, just trim work. So I've kind of got my hands dirty in most of it. But when it came time, he dissolved this company. I did not want anything to do with it. I wanted to start my own animal, and I did. So once I did, I got my contractor's license and specialized at the beginning in everything. I had my hands in just about everything, but quickly learned that the call for roofing in my market was out there, and we needed to take advantage. So I quickly rebranded into Big Lick Roofing and specialized in nothing but roofing.
Nice. Do you mainly residential, commercial? What type of roofs do you install?
So we primarily are residential. We probably at 25% of the business is commercial, but we primarily focus in on residential retail. There's not a lot of storms over here in my market, so we take what we can when it does come, but primarily it's retail based. And we're starting to see the transition into retail roofing. There's been a lot of other companies around us in our market that have come up from the Carolinas that are insurance focused, and they're storming and canvassing neighborhoods. But we're starting to see the transition into retail markets for sure here.
Nice. Yeah. Both of my offices, one was in Athens, Georgia. That's almost all retail because there's no storms that hit Athens for some reason. And then Savannah is on the coast. The other office on the coast gets a lot of storms. So I had a little bit of both worlds, and it was interesting to see the difference in how you market the business. And I love the retail world. I hope that most insurance restoration contractors kind of go to that retail model and really understand their bottom line, understand how to help their homeowners the best way. So very interesting. I've never been to Roanoke or Big Lick. I've probably driven through it, but I've never actually stayed there. So interesting to hear that feedback. I would love to hear about, you have been a legacy ProLine user. So it was called PowerLine then, and it was just the automation tool, the phone system with automations, and you have recently converted over to the full CRM. What has that? I'd love to hear the experience because I only hear from like the team. I don't get to hear from the contractor side. What did that process look like, and how is it going, and where are you in the process?
Yeah, so in the early days when it was called PowerLine and it was spelt just like you would think, POWR line. Unique, gotta love it. We jumped on that kind of early. I saw some value in the automation for texting and follow up because, let's be honest, salespeople, they're lazy. Most of them are. I mean, we can send them to all the seminars and all the trainings we want, but they're going to come back a new man for 24 hours and back in the old ways they go. So yeah, that was huge to me. That's value to me. We jumped on board. It went great for a while. But as time went along, trying to grow a business and focus on the parts that needed to be grown, we stepped away from PowerLine for a little bit. And I think it then became ProLine, kind of went on that off season for us. But long story short, like any other contractor, we floated between CRMs. I guess I should get an award for being the guy that uses all the CRMs because I've been through just about every one of them except Job Nimbus. We went through Job Progress, then it became Leap, and then we went through from Leap to Sumo Quote for estimation only, which was talking back to Leap. And then from there, we transferred over to AccuLinks, which is now my favorite, called AccuStinks. We could talk about that later too, but I am now onboarding with ProLine, and it's been awesome so far. Just to see how far ProLine has come since we stepped away from PowerLine is just insane. Y'all have been putting in some work and obviously putting in some values, and they're having you on board now from you're a previous roofing company owner, so you're kind of like me when you're thinking about stuff in the evenings. You're like, how can this be better? And you're giving all that feedback to the team, and they're putting the values in it, making it work for us contractors. But as far as the onboarding process goes, it seems to be streamlined. It's pretty simple to jump on board. It's pretty simple to get all your stuff set up and customized. Most of it's already done for you out of the box. You just got to critique a little bit here and a little bit there. But so far, man, everything's been great. The biggest hurdle is that data, right? Trying to get that data to talk correctly to the other CRM. I haven't quite figured that out yet, and we don't even know if we will. We may just use it fresh out of the box and start that way. We figured out a long time ago that when you're trying to transfer data from CRMs, it ends up making more of a disaster than usually what it's worth, unless you hire the right person to do it, which we failed to do the first time. So it's one of those things where that's always going to be a hurdle, no matter who decides to come over. But I would not let that stop anybody from coming over, because out of the gate, you're going to be slammed with all these amazing features that no other CRM can touch. And I can tell you that point blank.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I was, before hit record, I was telling you that I sold my roofing business about 8 months ago, and it has drastically changed. ProLine there's the majority of the features that are on ProLine right now were not there whenever I was a roofing contractor. So there's so many things. It really is an all-in-one solution now, and we continue to grow. Our development team is shockingly fast. They will develop faster than I can actually keep up. We'll have these meetings and they'll be like, "There's a new feature," and I had no idea because it was released 12 hours ago. So and you're right. We have the reason that I co-founded it with AJ was because we had instant feedback, contractor instant feedback, problem solution. And even now, contractors that are on ProLine now have the ideas board, and we actually look at the ideas board every single week, and we change the actual development roadmap every week based on our user base, because we see if our users need this, then we will build it faster. And that's a huge, the credit to AJ as a CEO, as a leader, understanding that we have to listen. It's a shocker. You listen to your customers and you do what they say and they need, you'll have a good business. So we really keep trying to do that. And we're not going to sway from that mentality and that purpose to become the best CRM in the roofing space. So I really appreciate the feedback that you've given. What are some challenges that you've seen? You've used all of the CRMs. I used Job Nimbus before. What are some name like one or two features that you're really excited about using ProLine moving forward?
So my biggest thing that I'm super excited about is the AI agent. if you don't know what it is, Google ProLine right now and go look up the AI agent. Like, I'm telling you, that right there is going to be huge for the CRM and huge for contractors.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this AI agent can set tasks. It'll answer the phone. I mean, it's pretty much replacing that human body. Now, is that a good thing? I don't know. But as far as overhead goes, I mean, if you have a person like I do in my business, right, that is dedicated to answer that phone and just setting tasks for salespeople or, admin, office work and stuff, that AI agent's going to save overhead eventually once it's developed and it's in place. And I think that's huge. Especially since we went through the phase of call centers. Like, I've had a 24/7 call center for a while. We just recently got rid of them. And the reason why is the amount of money you spend to have that 24/7 call center that does an okay job is just not worth it when you have an AI agent that is in development that's going to eventually probably be able to do most of that. So, why not dial back and invest in that? That is one super cool feature I am really excited about when it comes to ProLine. Now, another thing that I will tell you that ProLine has that no other CRM is going to ever be able to touch is that automated follow-up. Everybody advertises, oh, we've got, campaigns we can run, but it's copy and paste. Copy and paste this script and then send it yourself when you get time. What if I forget? Yeah, sure, you can set tasks, but ProLine does it for you. Spend the time when you're getting onboarded to set up those campaigns. You're never have an issue at all. It's going to send out text when you don't even think it's sending out text. By the time you remember to send that text, it's already been sent. It's awesome, man.
Here's how roofers make it home for dinner every single night without losing a single sale, even when they're one-man shows. Automate your communication with ProLine, the only communication-first CRM for roofers. Because when you fix your communication, you'll sell more jobs. Your weekends will smell more like sunscreen and backyard barbecues than that crappy gas station coffee. And all you got to do is ask these roofers.
Where we had about 200% growth, and I attribute that to incorporating ProLine.
But just with one automation, I was able to get 25 Google reviews.
It's been absolutely insane how quickly we were able to grow.
Now, ProLine's not going to win the beauty pageant, but it will save your Saturday. Now, back to the show.
Yep. I love that. It's a huge thing for me, though, when I was roofing and I wanted my sales reps to not get yelled at or me to get yelled at from homeowners. Why aren't you texting me this? I was very, very cautious on how we did automations. And so it was really important for us as a company to not send a random number text message to a homeowner because they haven't been talking to that number. But the sales rep has been calling and texting and emailing from their phone. So it was really important that the automations also come from the same phone number because the trust has already been built. You've already said, hey, this is John with ABC Roofing, and you've already had a conversation with them. And so the sales follow-up continues that conversation. It is really, really, really important for me to not make my team get yelled at all the time. And so it wouldn't be a confusing situation for homeowners. That's what we're always thinking about at ProLine. We're always thinking about our customer, who is the contractor, our customer's customer, which is the homeowner. And if we view our features through that lens, then it makes the contractor more successful. It makes you guys way more successful. I really do love that part. And AI agents, there's kind of three, whether you use ProLine or not, you need to have somebody answer your phone. Like I cannot stress this enough. Like if you get anything from watching this, make sure your phone is answered 24/7. You can't, there's no excuse. I use Ruby Receptionist. That's a US based pool of people that know your business name, know the weather. It's good, but it's not necessarily personal. But your phone's going to get answered all the time. Then we moved on to SMA. SMA is virtual assistants that are live in the Philippines, and they're great. They know your business. They are a dedicated team member. There's more intimacy. But again, they're not working 24/7. If you have an AI agent on top of that, you will be making either one of those options even better. Even if you have an in-house receptionist that you pay full salary, benefits, all the expenses that go along with that company, you should still have AI agents on top of that to make that person more effective and more efficient. It's really AI agents are not going to replace humans. They're going to make the humans that you work with better. And so I love that you have that feedback about it, because I also, again, that's one of the features that I never got to use. It wasn't in ProLine when I was a roofing contractor. So it's exciting to see that we have, I think, 26 or 28 different AI agents that you can choose from. And it's based on like your company identity. Maybe it's the owner's like personality type or voice or whatever it is. It's really, really awesome, because we want to make sure that we cater our agents to you and your company.
Yeah, and I think you can even record my voice, and I can become an AI agent. I saw that feature the day. I'm like, this is gonna be awesome.
Yep, that's a very, very fun kind of new thing that, again, they're learning. The AI agents learning about your business in exponential speed. So they're gonna know not just your name and what you do. They're gonna know like what the challenges are that you have, what solutions you provide. They're gonna be able to actually help homeowners. And it's going to make you look way more professional. Anything else you can think of as you're onboarding with features or just the team in general?
Yeah, so I mean, the onboarding process is pretty streamlined for the most part. There's not a whole lot you really have to do. It's more or less making sure you're working well with that particular onboarding specialist to ensure that he is capturing or she is capturing everything that you expect in that CRM, so they can help guide you early on. And, again, technically this is my second go around with ProLine. Initially it was Powerline, but, my biggest thing is make sure you have a documented, wrote down list of things that you want this thing to do for you before that onboarding call. It's going to streamline everything, and it's going to make things so much easier. The biggest things with us, of course, floating around CRMs, I have my bad tastes, but I also have a lot of things that, little things that I liked here and there that I can pull over and make work for us as well in ProLine. One of those being the quotes, like, knowing exactly what you want in that quoting template is going to be huge. That's going to take the most time. Let's be real. Spending that time importing materials, building out scope, making them things look sexy, that takes all the time in the world. But once you get that thing dialed in, man, you can go run. I mean, it's awesome. It's going to paint a picture and tell your story. So that's the biggest thing for me, is making sure that you spend the most time on your quoting templates, making sure those things are dialed in and looking the way that you want them to look early on. Because if you have to change some things halfway down the road, who knows what else, you could mess up or screw up. And there's nothing wrong with customizing by no means as time goes along, but you don't want to start up the CRM, wait 3 months and decide, oh, I should probably change this quoting template. And then all of a sudden you got to go back and fix all of these line items of materials. So you don't want to get involved with that. But yeah, so far, man, things are great. And that's the biggest thing that I can tell, somebody who's on the fence about coming over to ProLine is just come over. Just spend a little time before you come over documenting what you want and what you expect out of the CRM, and it will happen. It will happen.
Love it. Well, so we talked a lot about technology. We talked a little bit about your background. What at Big Lick, what are some things that you see challenges as you talk to the homeowners? What are some things that you guys do differently, and how you can leverage technology with all the communication side of things? What are some things that you do differently than your competition? I know you're mainly retail market, but what do you do at Big Lick that makes you different?
Yeah, so Big Lick is in Roanoke's market. I mean, we're a Southwest Virginia roofing company, and with that said, there's many people that will tell you if you can run and operate a roofing company in Roanoke, you can go anywhere and do it. And the reason why that's said like that is because this market is full of Chuck in the trucks and Hank in the tanks. And we have to go up against the carbon copy contracts all the time. And we have to go up against the guys that don't know differences in warranties. We have to go up against the guys that just quote, shoot from the hip by the square and send it. We are placed in a very challenging market. But one thing that we have done to help us expand our wings and set apart from the competition is that investment in technology, sexy proposals, and education. That's the biggest thing, is educating the homeowner so that they can make an informed decision as to what direction they want to go. If you for instance, go in a house in Roanoke and you spend a lot of time building that value and the system that you're putting down and that warranty and what it's going to do for that homeowner down the road, you're going to win every job, because 9 times out of 10, the other contractors in the door are so focused on how great Owens Corning is or how great ICO is or whatever, right? They don't talk about the warranty. They don't talk about the components. They're not even showing a presentation on how that system works for the homeowner, right? And why it's great. They're just expecting the homeowner to think it's great because they wear it on their shirt, and that's it. The other thing is that carbon copy contract. I mean, we've always been there. Actually, the more we think about it, in my desk, I keep where my life started, right there, carbon copy, baby. You can't forget the memories, right? But with that stated, those carbon copy contracts are this long. This is how much you got to work with, right? And you can't specify out that roof system on that much. You just can't do it. So with technology like ProLine, we can build a presentation in the proposal. We can go in the house, sit down and work A to Z. What more could you want, right? I mean, honestly, that's the biggest challenge, and we still face it every day, right? We don't win every job, and you never will. But knowing that you leave that door closed with the homeowner with some education and knowing that they have everything they need to make that informed decision is huge. So that's one thing that I will tell you in our market really helps us stand out, is that investment in the technology and the education of our sales team, and even the education of our homeowners and clientele, because that truly is what builds a brand, a reputation, and builds trust.
You do one thing that you're making me think about is one thing I love about ProLine is that we talk about, we're going to follow up every single time because the automations are going to do it. Is that as a brand, as a business, you can guarantee you're going to do what you say you're going to do. Hey, Miss Homeowner, I'm going to follow with you on Friday, because she'll say something like, hey, I'm getting 3 quotes. I'm not making a decision today. Okay, totally fine. And if you can't overcome the objections and you don't want to insult her, 2 buttons in ProLine. Boom. New date, Friday. And the text and email will go out to Miss Homeowner from your phone on Friday, even if you're at the lake, even if you're on vacation somewhere. So you did what you say you're going to do. And more times than not, we would constantly get like, you actually did follow up. Like, yeah, I told you I would. And it was the automation, the technology, because we're maintaining that communication. Like that's the power of having good technology, is that you build your brand up for the homeowner to see that actual end result. I love that. Telling the customer story too in the proposal too is huge. You have inspection reports. The photos are all there from their problem solution. Hey, this is what makes us different. Our warranty's great, but hey, this flashing is not done correctly. We're going to do it like this. Hey, the valley is done like this. Whatever it is, there's not enough ventilation. We're going to put this kind of ventilation here. That kind of storytelling about the homeowner's story and what makes you different from their perspective is another super powerful thing that ProLine can do. Because all the the shingle manufacturers the templates are all there. Good, better, best is in all those templates built into ProLine. But building it out, like you said, like tweaking it to make it be part of Big Lig's actual process, so you can tell the customer story, is really what makes it different. And that's what a leader and an owner should be doing for any technology they're using.
Yeah, customization is key. And that's one thing I can always take with me wherever I go, is I'll never forget the day when, I was one of the original job progress guys. And, obviously I have copies of it from way back when, but I won't ever forget 6 months down the road when it came time to say, hey, I had this idea and I want to customize this proposal to benefit my sales team and my clients in the home. And I got that answer of, oh, we're not geared up to do that. It's like, what? It's like, I'm paying all this money and I want this done and you can't do it. Well, down the road, they finally rebrand, they get bought out or whatever. And all of a sudden it's like, we have this whole support team that'll build you this proposal any how you want it. Well, okay. You give them 3 shots. They built it. But my God, was it ugly. I mean, ugly, man. So that's when Sumo Quote came along, right? So you start seeing those values as time goes on. You deal with people who specialize in what you want, right? You can't expect, I guess, a CRM to be a master at quoting. But all of a sudden, guess what? ProLine's here. Now it's like the best of both worlds. Now you have a great CRM, you've got a great quoting tool, and it's got some of the most amazing integrations. And that is what's valuable to a contractor like myself, and I hope others too who are on the fence.
Love that, man. I really appreciate your feedback. What are some ways, if anyone wants to reach out to you about Big Lick, what's the best way to reach out to you or your company? If they're in the Roanoke area, how do they reach out to Big Lick Roofing?
Yeah, we always encourage the ones that are passing through to stop by and say hello. There's always a lot going on every day, but I'm not a hard person to find because I'm an involved owner. I'm not one of those that are just sitting behind a chair all the time and cracking a Coca-Cola and watching TV. I'm out in the field doing things. But yeah, easy to contact me. And don't be scared. I don't have gatekeepers. Dakota@biglickroofing.com is my email. And then honestly, I'll give you my cell phone all day long. Shoot me your email and then we'll connect over email and I'll share my phone number with you and we can connect and maybe meet up for lunch or something. But yeah, we have a downtown Roanoke office. We are going to be leaving that location pretty soon. We've got a new headquarters being renovated just about 15 minutes down the road. And that's where we're going to be expanding our wings for the future to come. So we're super excited about that. But yeah, anybody come on through, visit Big Lick, come say hello to the Sasquatch. Everybody likes we got a big old Sasquatch in the window. Everybody likes to come say hello to. So feel free to pop in anytime, man. We're happy. We're all welcoming arms at Big Lick.
Love it. Well, Dakota, thanks again for coming on today. And thanks everybody for watching Big Roof's podcast.